Turning now to some Texas Democratic lawmakers who returned to the state for the first time in 2 weeks after leaving to block the Republican efforts to redraw that state's congressional districts with the hope of giving the GOP 5 more seats in the House of Representatives. By leaving the state House was unable to reach a quorum during a special session, meaning they were not able to conduct any official business. NBC News correspondent Ryan Chandler joins us now from the State House in Austin, Texas. Ryan, a bit of a deja vu moment for you here. Walk us through what happened there today, and where do things in Texas go from here?
Well, it was a real hero's welcome for the Democrats when they returned for the first time in more than 2 weeks. Business is back in the Texas House with dozens of Democrats back on the floor. They walked into the House right behind me to chants and cheers from staff and supporters who have really been pleased with how they were able to stall these maps. They did get a dose of reality, though, once they were on the House floor. More punishments and ways to keep them here in Austin. The Speaker assigning a personal state trooper to each Democrat to make sure that they don't flee the state again. Democrats not pleased with that at all. They say that they are not free to move while they are here in Austin. I talked with one Democrat, though, out of North Texas about what the strategy is now. She says that they are going to take these fights from the House floor into the courts.
Our election experts told us we have to go back and we have to take the fight to the House floor for the legal case. This is going to land in the courts, and we're going to make a very strong case that these are racially gerrymandered maps that silence the voices of communities of color. And we think that the Fifth Circuit Courts of Appeals is going to agree with us, just like they did in the Louisiana case.
So some acceptance there that these maps are going to pass. It's a challenging legal road ahead, Morgan. It's going to be expedited. It will have to be, because these maps have to be in place before the March primaries.
So, Ryan, amid all this redistricting drama that's been playing out, we know there's other agenda items the State House needs to address, including, of course, that response to the deadly July 4th floods that impacted the entire Texas Hill Country. What odds does that legislation have with this new session?
Oh, that will pass. That is a bipartisan priority that has not been treated as a priority, frankly, up until now. Redistricting has taken all of the oxygen out of the room, and the quorum break did stop work on everything, including those important flood bills. But an update there, Morgan, the governor added a new flood relief item to the special session call for this month. He's asking lawmakers to look at camp safety, the kind of regulations and protocol that are in place to make camps along the Guadalupe River safer, to make sure that warning systems are in place so that a tragedy like we saw at Camp Mystic never happens again, Morgan.
Of course. Ryan, real quickly, before we let you go, you mentioned that each one of these Democratic lawmakers now has a state trooper assigned to them. I'm curious, as much as they felt like their departure from Texas was a success, to now be back and essentially have the Republicans going to be able to pass these new maps, have any of them responded to questions about that on that front? Was that all for naught? They are claiming victory for 2 reasons. One, they were able to stop these maps for another 2 weeks. 2, they say they put pressure on California to pass that trigger bill, that retaliatory map that would add 5 Democratic seats to California to cancel out the 5 more Republican seats coming to Texas. They say that they were able to make California do that, so it's a victory in some way. At the end of the day, Morgan, everybody knew that these maps were going to pass. That's Texas math. But they were certainly successful in getting the attention of the nation on this. No doubt. Ryan Chandler breaking it all down. Ryan, thanks so much.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.